Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I have part 2 for you of the video collection about all the colored pages that we have colored as a family. So mainly the pages that I have colored together with my mom, who's sitting next to me actually. Hi everyone. So she brought all her books to my place and we went through all the books and marked all the pages that we have colored together over all the last 9 years. And we thought it would be fun to share them with you. We did already another video that contained all the Johanna Basford pages because those were the majority. And today we are going to go through all the other artists' books that we have. All right, let's start with Meine Reise durch Europa by Rita Berman. And I will zoom in just a little bit because those are smaller books. And then you can see the pictures better. All right. So this page we colored after I had been on vacation in Italy, and I had visited Pisa and started this page. And I was staying with my mom at the time, and we decided to color the picture together. And we both used our Ergosoft pencils. I think they have a really nice soft color palette that I really um, like a lot. Oops, trying to get to the next page. This one we did already earlier, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I think when we had the book quite newly. And yeah, I think we both used polychromos pencils on that one. And I think they turned out both really nice, especially the cats. And last but not least, this is quite recent work. We started this off together when we went on a camping trip, both with our campers, and we stayed together in the evening and started coloring this page. And then everybody kind of finished it on their own after we returned back home. And we also used our Ergosoft pencils here. But I have to say, for a more intense color palette, they are maybe not the best pencils, at least on this paper. I think it becomes saturated quite quickly with those pencils. All right. This was Rita Berman's Reise durch Europa. And then we have the seasons books. I have Mein Frühlingsspaziergang, and I also have Mein Winterspaziergang, and my mom has the compilation book, which is Mein Spaziergang durch die Jahreszeiten. And we have colored something from the spring section together. Which is this cute little Easter bunny. And my mom's version is really bright and colorful, and mine is a bit pastel-y because I had my Castle Arts pastel tints pencils new at that time, and I wanted to try and make a picture only with the pastel pencils. And I think for that it turned out nicely, but usually I like a bit more contrast. Yeah, we colored this for Easter actually, obviously because of the motif. Now we have a double page spread. And I think this is fun because I think my mom colored the picture of the umbrellas first, and then afterwards the picture next to it, and I did it in the opposite sequence. So really bright and colorful. Some things are similar, different cats. And the next page turned out a bit different. Mine is a bit more gloomy and gray. with a lot of rain clouds. I used Inktense on the page and then polychromos on top. Yeah, I think they look both really nice. And then we have another double page. Let's see how I can fit that on screen. Maybe one impression of the total picture. Then we start, oops, with the left page. And then this is the right page. I think they are both really bright and colorful. And I used my Castle Arts gold pencils, and I think they work really nicely on the paper. My mom used a mixture. I think she used some of her water-soluble pencils and dissolved them with a blender pen, but only on one side, and the other side she did with polychromos pencils. Yeah, really nice. And that was it for the spring part. And now let's see. We come to the winter section to check out my book here. And we both did the advent calendar. And they turned out also really cool. I really enjoy doing these advent calendars because you have every day a little picture to enjoy and also to share with your loved ones. So we always send out the pictures that we did to each other, and that's even more fun. Yeah, my mom also did the page next to it, but I have not done that yet. All right. So that was the Rita Berman books. And talking of an advent calendar, a few years ago, Isabel from Passionista Colorista and Katrin from Käthe Malt, they created an advent calendar based on some pages of the book A Million Christmas Cats by John Bigwood. And they took the 12 Days of Christmas page and added another 12 pictures and turned it into an advent calendar. And now let me see how I can show you all the pictures. Maybe I show you mine first. So these are the 12 pictures that are actually in the book. And I used a limited color palette, as you can see. And those are the 12 additional pictures that I printed. They are also from the book, just cut out and yeah, I put them here. Then put them aside, and then I show you my mom's version. Okay, I need to put it completely out of the way. So these are her 12 pictures from the book. She put them also on separate sheets of paper, so it would be really an extra advent calendar. And these are the next 12 pages. I love this one especially. That's really creative with the snowman face. Yeah, those were really fun. I like to color those. All right. Now I will zoom you out again a little bit, because now we have some larger books. And we start with Twilight Garden from Maria Trolle. And the first page that we have, oops, is this bird cage page. And this is the page of my mom, and this is my page, and we colored it together. And before I colored mine, I made a copy for my son, and he colored it as well. So it was a 3-person family color along. He was still quite little, my son, when he did it at the time. Yeah, I think they are both nice. And then we go to the next page. And those two look quite similar. We also colored this together, and we used our Castle Arts gold pencils. And yeah, my my mom did a different cat. I think mine looks really sleepy. I don't know what I did with the eyes. It's not not the best cat I have ever colored. But overall I like the pictures. They are really bright and colorful with all the different flowers. Good. Then next, that's a bit older. We also colored this cute little fox together. My mom used polychromos pencils and I think pastel, soft pastels for the background. And I used watercolor as a basing, and I went over that with my polychromos pencils. I think they are both really pretty. Then we have the cute little mouse family. And I think my mom's version is super cute with the pink background. It looks really very, very sweet. Yeah, and I think they are both pretty. I added the background for mine actually later. I had it without a background for I think more or less a year, but I always felt that something was missing, and then I added the background with watercolor later. Yeah, that was Twilight Garden, and we have another Maria Trolle book, and that is Nightfall. Oh, I'm not sure which one is which. Okay, I mixed them up. So this is a really cool page. And we did this one with a limited color palette. And it was a palette that had mostly gray, reddish, yellowish tones in it. And my mom was a bit desperate because she realized later that there was no green in the palette. Until she figured out that you could mix gray and yellow and get some kind of olivey green for the leaves. Then it was okay. And I think the palette is actually really pretty, and they both turned out really nice. This is a more simple page with the two little sleepy mice. I think that was a quicker one but we both struggled a bit with the leaves to make them look reasonable. And then we have another color along with a limited palette. This little squirrel. This is, I really think, very interesting because it's the same color palette, but the pictures look so different. It was only 6 pencils or something, and you can come to completely different results with the same 6 pencils. So it's really not about the huge pencil collection to make a difference. I think they turn out really nice. Again, my mom did the opposite page as well with the similar color palette, so this looks also really pretty together. Next, Those are also super cute. Yeah, we did those little birdies together, and yeah, we both went for a similar style background. Mine is more slate gray, it's a Posca. My mom went for a completely black background, and she made the birdies a bit colorful. I turned mine white because we used to have two little white birds some years ago, and I wanted to make it like a homage for those two. All right, now another page. This we colored also together. The pages with the black background are always very quick to color, and I'm just thinking, did we use a limited palette? No, I don't think so, but they look quite similar still with the yellow sunflowers. Obviously they have some similarities. All right, that was it for Nightfall, and that was it for Maria Trolle. I need to remove some of the sticky notes again. It's already getting full. So now we come to Hanna Karlzon, and we both have Daydreams. So let's see what we have colored together in this book. So we start with the little mice traveling in a kettle. And I think they are both really pretty. I think it's a different impression that you get. That we had that also on another page, where mine was very dynamic with this Neocolor background, and my mom used a Posca background, and it's also the shading is much more cleaner, and so it looks a lot different. So you can get a completely different impression on the same page. My mom used also a little bit of gold pen for the shiny stars. Really pretty. Oh, and silver pen for the waves. I like that idea. Next we have two cats. And we both did it as the cats that we had. Yeah, we don't have our Fridolin any longer. Yeah, but I think this is a really great motif, and the pictures turned out again very differently. I think we're again in this day-night situation, because I tend to have dark backgrounds and my mom goes for lighter backgrounds. So we have a day version and a night version of the picture. So next we have the froggy page. And we did that as a practicing page for coloring the background with neocolors. Because my mom had a small set of neocolors, but she didn't really know how to use it. And we kind of did this together and experimented. And I think it turned out great. Yeah, my page is a little bit more muted and my mom's page is really bright. But I like both. So the next page we did while we were on vacation. We spent some time together at the Baltic Sea, and we wanted to do an ocean themed page for obvious reasons. And yeah, it was this one, and we went for completely different color palettes. I used this unusual yellow color palette because I already had this left page colored and I want the two pages to fit together. So my mom has a bit more traditional blue and green tones for the underwater scene, and I went for these unusual yellow gold tones. But I think they are both nice. Then we have the rooster. I colored mine while we were on vacation on a farm, and my mom colored hers a little bit later. And I used Neo colors again for the background. I like that, especially in Hanna's books. The paper is really perfect for that. And then last page. For this book is this one. And this was not only the two of us coloring this picture, but we had a hashtag from a group of people I used to color together over on Instagram. And the hashtag was Daydreams House Adventure. And actually, the first page that I showed you, this one, was the Daydreams Mouse Adventure. So I just forgot to tell you, but if you use that hashtag on Instagram, you can find more pictures of those pages colored by different talented coloristas. Yeah, I really like both of the pages, the warm colors that my mom has used, and I also like the blue here. I'm not completely sure with the gray houses, they are a bit duller, but actually that was what I wanted to show, that the city is gray and dull, and somehow the magic comes back. Yeah, whatever. Good, so that was it for Daydreams. And then the other Hanna Karlzon book that we have is Summer Nights. So let's see what we have here. First this one. And it's a bit similar from a color palette, but it looks completely different. I used Posca for the background. My mom used some Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils. I think she was never really happy with the result, but I think it works. It's a bit softer overall. It's okay. Then we have huge spider. They also look completely different. I think my mom colored her with markers, and I colored mine with watercolors and some metallic Posca to make it even more shiny. Then we had this page, and my mom colored it first. So she had the idea with the black background and the super crazy colors. And I always liked that. And when I colored mine a little bit later, I knew I wanted to be inspired by that. So I used different colors for the individual objects, but the overall idea of having this black background and the fancy colors in the foreground, I took from inspiration from her picture. Then we have the swans, and we use the same background. It's the same Posca marker, and I think they look both really nice, really classy with the burgundy background. And my mom had this pink and blue, and the shared crystal is then violet idea. And my son colored this picture as well, so I made a copy for him. And this is how he colored it. So he was still really little at that time. But I really like that he used to color so much with us, because we had really a lot of family color-alongs, so we were coloring together. Then this page. And I think they are both really nice. Mine's a bit more dramatic, but I think my mom's is also really pretty with the color combination. And now we come to another day-night scenario. I turned mine into some kind of midnight lady, and my mom has a day beauty. I think this was one of the first faces that she has ever colored. I think the very first one is also in this book. We will see that later. And now we have a lot of froggies. I can see my picture and my mom's picture, and actually the color inspiration for those pictures was my son's coloring that he did. He was very quick, and he came up with the color combination with the gray and yellow for the stones, the blue crystals, and so on. So yeah, I think the three of them all look really nicely. My mom used pencils for hers, and I used neocolors for the background and markers for the foreground. So this has a lot more smooth finish, and this is a bit more dynamic again. So you really get a different overall impression from the image, depending on the medium that you use. Come to a double page spread. Let's try to fit both on camera more or less, so you get the idea. So we have the left page with the birdies, then the right page with the portrait of the lady. I think they are both nice. Mine has the darker background. My mom really used the colors from the portrait on her birds also really nicely again. Yeah. Now next we have this page. And my mom did hers first, and I always loved her version a lot. I think it's really pretty. And I did mine quite a bit later, and I never really knew what I wanted to do with it. And then I was kind of inspired by Studio Ghibli movie Nausicaa and the Valley of the Winds is the name, and it kind of has this feeling with the mushrooms and everything, and so I kind of tried to turn it into something that reminded me of the movie. Now we have bird and the two little mice. And mine is again the darker version, and my mom has the lighter version. So you can see how different the picture can look. But I think they are both pretty. Just the next page here. Now, this is the very, very first portrait that my mom has ever done in a coloring page. She was very unsure how to do that, so I showed her on a scrap piece of paper where she could put some shadow for the face, and I think she did a good job and doing this in her coloring book. And from then on, she was more confident and colored more faces. And yeah, I did mine as a neon queen, so the colors, I went a bit crazy with the colors. Yeah, they look really different. Now we have the two sleepy mice. I think they are both nice, although I think the color combination of my mom is a bit more coherent with the warm colors. This was one of the first pictures I colored in this book. And then we have another cat. I colored this also together. And I turned the cat into our actual cat, Blackie, because he really looks like that. Yeah, really nice. So that was the last page in Summer Nights, last page for Hanna Karlzon. And now we have some individual pages. We have one joint page in Dromenwanger by Tomislav Tomic. And we did it only last year. And we did it as a color along again with a limited palette. I think we had around 10 polychromos pencils that we used. And I think both turned out really nice. We really used the palette nicely. Yeah, everybody a little bit different, but I think both pictures are really nice. And then we have another individual picture, and that is in Kerby Rosanes' Imagimorphia. And it is another double page. So let me try to give you the overall impression of both pages. So it's the jellyfish page, and I did mine with watercolor and Inktense, and my mom used markers for the background and also for some of the details. And I really like both versions. They turned out so differently. Mine is more harmonious from the colors, and hers is super bright and vibrant. And both are really cool. I like that. Yeah, very nice. And then last but not least, I have here Wildflower Folk by Christin Karron. And we got this book. I got it first, and then my mom got it as well because she wanted to try out grayscale coloring. And I did kind of tutorials for her. So we were coloring together, and she was basically following what I was coloring. So the pictures will look very similar. And we did first this page, Ocean Eyes. And we colored with polychromos pencils. They work really nicely on this paper, and I think they are the best for coloring grayscale because you can do really many light layers and really cover the gray of the print on the paper. I think it's very important, especially on the skin, to get over the grayishness of the print, because otherwise the skin looks really not so pretty if it's gray. And you achieve that best by going over it with many layers, with, and in my opinion, polychromos pencils. Yeah, I think they both worked out really nicely. They look not identical. You can see there are some subtle differences, but they are both pretty. And then we have done another page together. And that's the Sugar Plum Fairy. This is my page, and this is the page that my mom has done. And again, she was kind of coloring along with me. And I think her results are also really good. I'm sure she could tackle a grayscale picture now also on her own. So I think she did very well with her pictures. Yeah, so again, both were colored with polychromos pencils. As I mentioned, in my opinion, that's the best way to color grayscale. Maybe I will do a color along in this book at some point in time and show you how I color grayscale. Maybe that's interesting for you. All right, so that was it. Let me know in the comments if you have any favorites or if you have any questions, or if there's any color along that you maybe would like that we should do together, or that I could do also for you on camera. Yeah, so overall, thank you so much for watching. We enjoyed making these videos a lot. And we hope that you also enjoyed watching them. Then thanks again, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.